YouTuber. I didn't want to get it from no news. I wanted to be right there to hear the testimony of some of the people that was there.
So how was it? Take you through it.
Well, the prosecution did a great job. It was certain people like, you see, I think her name Dawn. You know what I'm saying? She was in Danity Kane. She didn't do so well, but she didn't do bad because what happened is there's this, and this is what people don't understand. She set an atmosphere of fear. And then people were saying this, bro. Oh, she went back once. She went back twice. She went back 8 times. She went back 20 some times to him. How could she be scared of him? No disrespect to Dawn for making this analogy. You got people that kick their dogs. You got people that beat their dogs. What do their dog do the next day? Come back and lick their hand. Because that person feeds them. That person is what gives them a house over their head, a roof over their head. That person is the one who put water in their bowl, food in their bowl. See, what people don't understand about Puff is this, is that he held the entertainment grip, especially for the people who was his former artists, in a chokehold. If you didn't do what he say do, if he didn't like you, you would never ever work for Bad Boy or anybody in the entertainment business again. He did it to Kirk Burrows. You understand? He did it to Wendy Williams. He did it to a lot of people, bruh. So now her going back is just wanted to get food on her table, keep a roof over her head. Because nobody was probably telling her, yo, I can't work with you. I can't deal with you unless Puff say so. I'm not gonna work with you. I'm not gonna do anything because they didn't want to make him mad because he had enough power in the business to stop her. So then she was saying something about, well, she seen this dude one stop selling drugs. You know, oh, did you see him get cash? He get him the cash and stuff like that. The good thing that she said it, and then they said, oh, well, you really didn't see him and stuff like that, but she knew of it. They had people come back and say this guy one stop name, you know, so in their testimony. And they did a great job in their testimony. Like one of his PA's personal assistants did a great job in his testimony. And he said, yeah, I used to pay one stop for the drugs. You know, we used to get the drugs to D-Rock. He used to have a case with all the drugs in it and stuff like that. Hold a bag with all the drugs and everything and the money in and stuff like that. So now she mentioned that. So now the jury knows she's telling the truth about one stop getting people drugs. See, when people look at it, oh, her testimony was terrible. Her testimony, she didn't remember this, she didn't remember that. You ain't got to remember everything. But some of us have a great memory, and we do. And I applaud her for even trying. You know what I'm saying? When in fact, you know what I'm saying, she's a person that is a victim. She's a victim, bro. You know, these people who was around him and had to work with him came out, and that's what you find in the trial, that they were being victimized. And people around them that was there saw it, didn't say nothing, and didn't do nothing.
If I'm not mistaken, Dunn, she testified that Diddy, he threw a skillet of eggs at Cassie, right?
Well, I don't know if that was Dawn. What happened was one of the PAs, you know, his personal assistant, I think that was George something. I don't know his last name. I think that was George. He said he came in and he had a bowl of apples, and it was Gina. So this was a bowl, not to laugh, man, but he's just throwing them apples as hard as he can, hitting Gina with some apples, dog. That's like throwing a brick at somebody almost. And he was doing crazy shit like that, man. He threw on the plane what you was trying to say. He threw one of those hard, like it could have been a bourbon glass. You know those hard glasses that you have with that you pour alcohol in? And speaking of alcohol, and you said bourbon, that's my alcohol right there. Want it. Get it in the stores. I gotta promote it on your show, Mighty. It's wanted. Get it in the stores.
Hey, 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 what's going on, Naughty Crew? Welcome back to the channel. As promised from earlier, I said I would come back and do the recap of day 11 of Sean Diddy Combs' trial. And let me tell you, the testimony was explosive. One of Diddy's ex-assistants, is it me or does he go through a lot of assistants? Okay, I mean, what are we on, our fifth assistant? And it's just because he mistreats people all the time. It doesn't matter whether you're a man, a woman. He's consumed with power. That's what he's addicted to. That's his number one drug of choice. Okay. But yeah, explosive testimony today. We're gonna get into it. I just wanted to start the show because Gene Dill was there yesterday and he sat with the Art of Dialogue. Shout out to them, fair use commentary, and gave his thoughts. And you know what? He kind of challenged my thoughts on Dawn Richard's testimony. And Aubrey O'Day, I'm starting to question her and whose side she on. I think she's got a deep-seated jealousy for Dawn because Diddy decided to keep her instead of Aubrey or whatever. But Gene Dill, Dawn was a victim too. And she witnessed a lot of things and she corroborated a lot of things. So as not credible like we all thought she actually was very credible. So please thumbs up the video, share this live out, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And tomorrow, Naughty Crew, we're gonna be boots on the ground because I want to see Mia testimony. I want to see Mia. That's gonna be the second victim. But Gene Dill feels like me. We share the same consensus. We both feel the prosecution is doing a very good job of proving the racketeering and proving the RICO all together. One point he brought out, because I wasn't there today, Kid Cudi testified. When it came to redirect from or cross examination, Diddy told his defense not to question him anymore. The defense is looking very defeated as of today. They're looking like they really do not have a case. And I'm wondering which witnesses they are going to call to testify when all of his friends, most of his friends in the industry has turned their back. I mean, the only other thing I could think of is Gina's going to testify for the defense because she took the payout. Like, let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to testify for the defense on Diddy's behalf outside of his sons? It looks like his daughters are not here for their father's behavior. I played you audio yesterday from his daughter Chance, and she says she can't condone what her father does. So I'm interested to see who will testify on Diddy's behalf to turn this around, because right now he is looking like a true monster. That's what I'm getting out of all of this. So please thumbs up the video. I'm gonna give YouTube a chance to send out some notifications. But yeah, today's testimony was explosive. Dante, he is Diddy's assistant, also Cassie's friend. And congratulations to Cassie. She delivered her baby boy, healthy. So congratulations to her. Shout out to her. But yeah, thumbs up the video. Here's some footage outside of the courthouse today, while we give YouTube a chance to send out some notifications.
Hey, Justin, where JC is at? Where's all those people that was with your father? Where they at? Where they at? Where's J-Lo at? Where's J-Lo at? Where's JC at? Where's LeBron? He's all cooked, man. Ain't no party like the Diddy party. He's all cooked, man. Ain't no party like the Diddy party. Where LeBron at? Where's all his friends at right now? Why they abandon him? Can you tell me that? Why did they abandon him? Hey, Justin, where JC is at? Where's all those people that was with your father? Where they at? Where they at? Where's J-Lo at? Where's J-Lo at? Where's JC at? Where's LeBron? He's all cooked, man. Ain't no party like the Diddy party. He's all cooked, man. Ain't no party like the Diddy party. Where LeBron at? Where's all his friends at right now? Why they abandon him? Can you tell me that? Why did they abandon him?
There you have it. I mean, they are fierce outside of that courtroom. They not playing. They asking all the questions. Not that they're gonna get answers, but Janice Combs, her wig is looking way better. Okay. Here's some more footage. Here's some more footage here. I think this is kind of the same thing, but we'll take a look at it. It's a different angle.
Where's all those people that was with your father? Where they at? Where's J-Lo at?
Harlem strong.
Where's J-Lo at? Where's JC at? Where's LeBron? He said ain't no party like the Diddy party. He said ain't no party like the Diddy party. Where LeBron at? Where's all his friends at right now? Why they abandon him?
I mean, at this point, did he really have friends, or did people just fear him enough not to F with him? And so they rubbed elbows with him all these years because they were afraid of what he might do. You just heard Gene Dill say, like, he held all the keys. And if you didn't do what he said, if you didn't work for him, you didn't work for anyone. He would make sure no one would work with you. And hence the reason why all these employees ended up going back. Capricorn Clark, Dawn Richard, Cassie, okay? Because where else were they going to go? Hey, AT2, where else were they going to go? He was the gatekeeper of the industry, and I think the prosecution is doing a very good job of proving this. But it doesn't look like the Combs family, the Combs tribe, is staying in court for the full day, and it looks like the daughters have dropped out. They haven't been showing up to court, and Janice Combs and Quincy and Christian, they seem to be just like hanging on by a thread. They're only showing up for a half a day. All right. A lot going on. Also, Chris Lighty came up in Capricorn Clark's testimony yesterday, and that's getting some clips circulating around the web. Like, what really happened to Chris Lighty? Now, 50 Cent never believed that Chris Lighty took his own life.
Howard team to investigate the hip-hop mogul's death.
I don't think Chris killed himself. I don't believe that.
What happened to Chris?
Puppy might be the destination for anybody going over.
Savage!
Nobody survived.
Did Chris Lighty know too much about Diddy?
That man might use that information against you.
All the gnats, they can't really touch me.
I ain't gonna stop till I get to the bottom of it.
Howard.
I mean, this is a man that was loved by a lot of people. And let's just say, here is another person that passed away, and the circumstances seem suspicious. I mean, he was young, vibrant, and rich. He was on top of the world. Chris Lighty was the man responsible for getting 50 Cent the $1 million vitamin water deal. Okay, so what really happened to him? What really happened to Kim Porter? What happened to Andre Harrell? What happened to Heavy D, Tupac, Biggie? I mean, the list goes on. And I'm just really wondering if all of these suspicious deletions are going to come into play eventually. As you all know, they have delayed the Keefe D trial until next year. I wonder why. I mean, they got Keefe D on all sorts of platforms admitting that Diddy was supposed to pay him $1 million for the hit on Pac, and he never got paid. And this is why he started doing all these interviews. He wrote it in a book. What's the delay? Maybe he need a Cody, or maybe there's going to be a Cody. And I say Cody meaning co-defendant. Okay? Do you think Keefe D is going to go down by himself? I mean, I know he lived by the street code or whatever, but Fred M, he sat down with Angela Yee on her show Way Up, or her podcast, and he kind of broke down what the RICO is, because so many people are trying to walk around ignorant.
As a lawyer yourself, what do you think about this whole RICO? Because people are saying, I don't see the RICO. I don't see the RICO.
Yeah, I think so many people are saying that they don't see it. And I'm not sure that people understand exactly how much trouble Diddy's in. Mm-hmm. I spoke myself to about 10 prosecutors that I know, former prosecutors. I was a former lawyer, so I have tons of friends who are former prosecutors. And I asked them, I said, what do you think about this case? And to a T, every one of them said, Diddy is cooked. This case is over for as far as they see, and there's very little chance of Diddy ever coming out of this. Diddy and his legal team are trying to get Kid Cudi's testimony kicked out.
Okay.
They're saying that it's irrelevant. They're saying that it's all based on hearsay and speculation, but most importantly, that there's no evidence that directly links Diddy to the explosion on his car.
This LAPD officer is testifying on what happened, but they're saying as he's being cross-examined, they did not report a gun being involved or that any property was stolen from the home. So we'll see what happens after. You think it's going to get tossed?
I think there's a 50-50 chance that testimony gets tossed.
As a lawyer.
And the judge said, absolutely not. They put in a motion. Hey, Latea. They put in a motion, and can I just say, this judge is very fair to both the prosecution and the defense. The defense tried to call for a mistrial during the LAPD's officer's testimony today. And the judge was like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The defense has nothing. Everybody was worried about the prosecution having enough evidence. Prosecution has all the evidence that they need. And I think that he is starting to feel the pressure, and he knows his goose is cooked. It's cooked. So that being said, let's get into the recap of today's case. Okay, they started today with the LAPD officer testifying. Okay, so LAPD, and shout out to CNN, LAPD officer testified he responded to Kid Cudi's home in 2011 and saw a black Escalade flee. Okay, this corroborates Capricorn Clark, because she said the police, she saw them in passing. Okay? She saw them in passing. So, I mean, who you going to believe? So Officer Christopher Ignacio has been with the Los Angeles Police Department for about 16 years. Ignacio responded to Kid Cudi's home the morning Sean Diddy Combs allegedly broke in December 2011. At the time, he was on patrol in the Hollywood division, which included Kid Cudi's house. He and his partner responded to a radio call for a possible burglary at the home at 8:20 a.m. Ignacio testified that he noticed a black Escalade parked outside Kid Cudi's home when he arrived. The SUV took off up the hill. This is exactly what Capricorn Clark said. She testified it is. As the marked police vehicle with lights and sirens on pulled up behind it. He said he took note of the license plate, but couldn't see any passengers through the tinted glass. Ignacio testified that he didn't pursue the Escalade because there wasn't a crime at that point. Hey, Marva. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Okay. More corroboration. So the Los Angeles police officer described the scene when he arrived. So Officer Christopher Ignacio, He described the scene when he arrived at Kid Cudi's home. Ignacio said he noticed a black Escalade that was parked outside of the home. When he pulled up, drive by the home about 15-20 minutes later. When he ran the license plate, the vehicle registered tied back to Bad Boy Productions Inc. Thumbs up this video. Okay? Ignacio said he entered the home. The door was unlocked, he testified. No one was home, but the officer noted several high-value watches and purses. Some were wrapped and some were unwrapped, Ignacio testified. Kid Cudi said somebody had unwrapped gifts that he brought for his family. Okay? Ignacio said Kid Cudi eventually came back to the house and they filed a trespassing report. Now, at this point, is this where the high-speed chase took place? All right? And remember, Kid Cudi said he just stopped and thought a moment, like, you know what? Let me just deal with the police on this. But, I mean, why was Diddy's, and it was Diddy's truck. It was registered to his company. Why was he there? Why was he there? Please thumbs up the video, okay? So then the defense cross-examines LAPD officer, defense attorney Brian Still, and cross-examining Los Angeles officer, okay? So this is when they review the police report. And they're saying Kid Cudi's home didn't mention a GUN, officer said. So he said he didn't remember if anyone told him a GUN was involved in the incident, but he confirmed he didn't reference a GUN in his report. So the Los Angeles Police Department officer testified that Kid Cudi was flustered, real flustered, but did not report a GUN being involved and that any property was stolen from his home. So nothing was stolen. And so then he got off the stand. So it was quick. So then the next witness was the arson investigator. Now, Capricorn stated that the arson investigator did contact her, but she did not speak with him. She said she just wanted to be done with the whole situation. Okay. So the arson investigator is Lance Jimenez. And he worked with the Los Angeles Fire Department since 2003. And so Judge Remian, I can't ever say his name, qualified Jimenez as an expert in fire cause and origin determination. Okay. So he said he investigated the 2012 fire that destroyed Kid Cudi's Porsche. And he responded on January 9th of 2012 to investigate the fire set to the rapper's Porsche. The rapper testified last week that he got a call from his dog sitter stating that his car was on fire. Like, what are the chances? All right, you're going through all of this back and forth with Diddy. Y'all beefing over a female. Okay. All right. So the arson investigator stated the Porsche was parked close to the garage. He observed a cut in the canvas roof of the vehicle and burn patterns throughout the seat, the center console, and the interior roofing, and some of the carpeting. There was a bottle on the front seat, and there was like a cloth, a handkerchief on the center console that was burned, he said. He noticed disposable lighter outside of the car a couple of feet from the driver's side. And so then the jury was shown more images of Kid Cudi's car. And Kid Cudi's Porsche had severe damage, but not typical for, we're going to call it an MT cocktail incident, investigators said. So the LAPD and the LAFD testimony could add prosecution and proven racketeering charge, legal experts say. So here's what the legal experts are saying. A Los Angeles police officer and a Los Angeles Fire Department arson investigator took the stand today to provide testimony that could help the prosecution prove the racketeering conspiracy charge against Sean Diddy Combs. With regards to Kid Cudi arson and break-in allegation, trial attorney Kelly Hyman said. All right, and this is from Capricorn Cards. So, I mean, I think they're doing an excellent job. Here is Kid Cudi's Porsche. And the arson investigator testified that Kid Cudi's Porsche caused just a smoldering fire. One thing he did say, he was like, whoever created the MT cocktail, they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what they were doing. Because it just set a smoking fire in the car. Evil. And the investigator came up with the conclusion that Kid Cudi's car was targeted, okay? He believes someone targeted Kid Cudi's Porsche. He noted that it was not easily visible from the street and parked in an affluent neighborhood with low crime activity. Another car parked in the driveway at the time was not harmed, he testified. Now, he also testified that partial female DNA profile was found on a bottle in Kid Cudi's Porsche. Arson investigators say, you know, we don't know whose DNA it is, but who's to say, like, Diddy didn't use DNA from Cassie to try to set her up because he was so mad and vengeful about her moving on from his cheating behind. Thumbs up the video, okay? So they said the bottle cloth and lighter were tested for DNA, but only the bottle returned results. Arson investigator Lance Jimenez said he confirmed that partial DNA profile consistent with a female contributor came from the bottle, but said he didn't know exactly what that meant. Earlier, Jimenez testified that he does not have any experience in DNA testing. So then the jury took a break. All right, they heard from two witnesses today. Sean Diddy Combs' mom was present in the courtroom. And this is kind of the atmosphere. The judge is back on the bench and the jury will soon be brought back in following a brief morning break. During the break, Sean Diddy Combs' legal team hovered around one table and three on each side, whispering. Combs' three sons just arrived. So they're not even showing up on time, okay? Nepo babies. Then at this point, the defense moved for a mistrial. Let me tell you, Brian Still is very known for calling a mistrial. He did it all throughout the YSL trial. So I gather he's going to do the same thing with the Diddy trial, okay? But nice try, but it ain't happening, okay? So the defense attorney, Alexander Shapiro, says the defense moves for a mistrial based on prosecutorial misconduct. Some prospective jurors said during jury selection that they believe Sean Diddy Combs could buy his way out of things, Shapiro said. This type of conspiracy theory is out there, and the type of implication we believe these questions were designed to create plays right into that. Shapiro said a mistrial is the only proper remedy to cure the outrageous prejudice created by the prosecution conduct. Excuse me, sir. We have watched, not only the jury, we the people, the public, have watched this man buy his way out of things for the past 3 decades. The club papowing, okay? His money. He hired Johnny Cochran. This was on the tail end. Was it before OJ? Yeah, it was on the tail end of the OJ trial. Sir, nice try, but the judge wasn't having it, okay? So the judge denies defense motion for mistrial. He denied the defense team mistrial motion. The judge said he doesn't believe that the jury was prejudiced and will give a curative instruction to the jury and strike the testimony about the fingerprint card. Yes, because they asked the officer what happened to the fingerprint card. And the officer said We were told to destroy it. And so then they asked, who told you to destroy it? And then that's when they objected. All right. Prosecutor Christy Stavik said a mistrial is absolutely unwarranted, agreeing with the judge that a curative instruction would suffice. So the jury came back from break. And at that point, that's when the judge instructs the jury to disregard the fingerprint card. But at the end of the day, they heard it. They heard it. Thumbs up the video. Please share this live out. Okay. All right. And the arson investigator stated he tried to reach Ventura through family members and he could not get a response. And then he also tried to reach Capricorn Clark and she would not respond. Why? Because they were terrified of Diddy and what he might do to them if they talk to any investigator or a police officer. He instilled fear in all of these people. Anybody that was in his orbit, he instilled fear. Okay, so the arson investigator disputes claims that contact with Clark was linked to female DNA found on the bottle. Then the jury was shown photos of a black glove in Kid Cudi's car. Let me tell you, they are America's dumbest criminals. I think they was banking on the car blowing up and destroying the evidence, but they didn't even stick around to make sure it got burnt. So then Cassie Ventura's friend was called to the stand. His name is Deontay Nash. And let me tell you, his testimony was colorful. Let me see. Because I really want a blow by blow of the questions and answers on him. Let me see if the Inner City Press has it. Okay. Okay, here we go. I found some of it. Shout out to Inner City Press. He's been keeping up with all of this. So Deontay Nash took the stand. So the judge called next witness and they said the government calls Deontay Nash. Are you here under subpoena? He says yes. Do you want to be here? He said absolutely not. He said, what's your work? He said celebrity stylist. And then the prosecution asked in 2008, and Nash responded for Puff and Cassie. So then they asked, how'd you get hired to work for them? He said, through a Craigslist ad for Bad Boy Entertainment. This photo, is it fair and accurate portrayal of how you looked at the time? He said, not even close. He said, it's a glamour photo. And he said, yes, I look amazing. So he was like very colorful with his testimony, just like kind of Kid Cudi did too. So then he says, I'm trying to catch the beginning. it's kind of hard to like track his stuff. All right, the next set was I think it kind of skipped around. All right, so it says, so it's Mr. Combs who made you a celebrity stylist. He says, sure, go ahead. And so then Donaldson said, I'm going ahead as a celebrity stylist. You pick clothes like for Mrs. Fine's wedding, talking about Cassie. He said, yes. And Donald said, do you know Groovy Lou? He said, yes. Nash said, Puff said he sent her SEX tapes to her parents' job to get them fired. And that her brother was a itch. All right, so Cassie and Diddy got into a heated exchange. Nash helped her leave. Let me see if I can find a better, because I don't like the way this is broken up. Because we're missing some context. Please thumbs up the video. Mm-hmm. No, I saw that. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, let's go back to CNN. All right, here we go. This is a better recap. Hey, Chantel. Hey, Johnny. Yeah, who would have known Bad Boy would be on Craigslist? Like, that's weird. So Nash says he worked for Combs for about 10 years. Dante Nash said he began working with Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura around 2008. He said he was an intern in the fashion department at Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Entertainment Company, before becoming a stylist. Nash said he stopped working for Combs in 2018. So this is when he jokes about his headshot. All right. So Combs stylist says rapper threatened Ventura on multiple occasions. That's what I'm saying. The prosecution is doing a good job of showing examples of coercion, force. Okay. He basically beats Cassie into submission. All right, so Dante Nash is describing sometimes he said Sean Diddy Combs threatened Cassie Ventura. Nash testified that on multiple occasions he heard Combs tell Ventura that he would beat her. ASS. Ventura would be super emotional after these incidents, he said. She would cry, and sometimes she would just say, stay in the house for days and go in a cocoon. That sounds like depression to me. So Nash said he heard Combs making other threats towards Ventura, including telling her he would not release her music and threatening to get her parents fired from their jobs. Combs also threatened to send actual explicit videos of Ventura, and Nash testified. Nash said Combs would threaten not to release Ventura's music anytime she did something he didn't like, which could have been anything. If Cassie would have sneezed wrong, he was threatening her. So he detailed an incident that happened in 2014. Hey, Buck. Dante Nash said he attended a party in 2014 with Cassie Ventura. She looked bomb. Her hair was down, he testified. And when they arrived, Nash and Sean Diddy Combs grabbed him by the jacket and lifted him up. Nash testified that Combs told him Ventura's hair needed to be worn up. Nash didn't ask people for hairpins and told Ventura to go to the bathroom with other staff to fix her hair. Nash and Combs admitted to him later that night that Ventura's hair looked better down. Okay, this is speaking to the control he had over Cassie. And like people are saying, why Cassie didn't leave? I think Gene Deal gave the best example, right? You can mistreat a dog, you could beat a dog down, but they still going to come back and lick on you. Why? Because you're the one that feeds them, right? You can compare that to DV victims. It's the same type of mentality. Even Capricorn Clark, he blackballed her to the point where she couldn't get no work, and she was so desperate to feed her son and feed herself, she had to go back to work from him. And so then he testified, Nash, he said, Dante Nash, a celebrity stylist and friend of Cassie Ventura, said he had to send all photos of Cassie Ventura's outfits to Sean Diddy Combs for approval. He would pick which one he liked, and that was usually the one we went with. Okay. And even Capricorn Clark testified yesterday saying that everything had to go through Diddy. Everything had to get approved by Diddy. They are proving that he runs the complete enterprise. A bad boy, global, whatever you want to call it today. Then the jury dismissed for lunch. All right, so the exotic dancer who testified and he was involved with the freak offs offers an apology to Cassie Ventura. Let's see what he has to say. So Sheree Hayes, an exotic dancer who testified he was involved in a freak off with Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura, offered an apology to Ventura in an interview to CNN. CNN Laura Coates asked Hayes what he would say to Ventura now that he has heard her account about how she felt about the freak offs. He said, I would apologize. I would apologize because I had no idea or no indication what she was going through. And if you know, obviously my involvement kind of furthered her suffering. Just the thought of partaking in a scenario where a woman is possibly being abused is tough to hear. So, I would just apologize to her and tell her I was really remorseful and regret if I contributed to a bad experience for her. All right. He was the dancer known as the Punisher. All right, they came back from the lunch break, and a celebrity stylist is back on the stand. The jury was entering. And so now, Deontay, he describes a time when he witnessed Combs attack Cassie. Child, everybody witnessed Cassie getting attacked. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay. Just let me know the time, okay? Just know I don't get off until 7. All right. So stylist Dante Nash testified that he watched Diddy attacked Cassie in a rage sometime in 2013 and 2014 when he was helping Ventura pack for a trip. Nash said he answered the door when Combs arrived because Ventura was asleep on the couch. Combs came in yelling at Ventura about how she allegedly didn't answer her phone. See? If Cassie sneezed wrong, she began to be down, okay? Nash said he watched Combs grab her by the hair and pull her off the couch and started hitting her. Jesus. Nash said he ran into Ventura's bedroom with Ventura and one of Combs' assistants. The assistant had been identified in this trial as Mia, who was supposed to be testifying tomorrow. Combs pushed the door open as they tried to lock him out, Nash said. Combs continued to attack Ventura, hitting and kicking her until she hit her head on the bed frame. Dang, and split her head open. And they showed pictures of it. It was a huge gash. This is crazy. Nash testified that Mia both jumped on Combs' back, but he threw them off. They tried to help. Combs finally stopped when he noticed the blood, Nash testified. When he noticed the blood, he just panicked. Yeah, because now there's evidence of what you're doing to this girl. And then Nash said, Combs said to them, look what y'all made me do. Classic abuser line. Everybody else's fault but his own. Okay, Nash said he dialed 911, but someone told him to hang up before the call connected. He testified he can't remember who told him to hang up. Combs told them Ventura would go to a plastic surgeon with his security guard, Nash said. When Nash saw Ventura on a video call the next day, she had a gash on her forehead near her eyebrow and stitches. This is crazy. She had to go through so much. All right. This is the incident when he threatened to release videos. Okay. Hey, Joy. Thank you for joining. So he recounted a time in 2013 and 2014 when he was at Ventura's apartment and Sean Diddy Combs came over saying he wanted to talk to Ventura. He said Combs and Ventura went into the bedroom, and when they came out, Combs grabbed her by her hair. He loved grabbing her by her hair, child, and the back of her shirt, and started pushing her out while telling her to get out of his house. Nash testified that he understood Combs was referring to Ventura's apartment. Nash testified that Combs pushed Ventura halfway out of the door and then began doing the same to him. He was more so popping me in the back of the head because I don't have hair and grabbing me by the shirt, Nash said. Nash said he went downstairs to get in his car and Ventura and Combs came down later. Puff began to berate us both and he finally let us go. Nash said he and Ventura began driving away when they received a call from Combs telling them to pull over. Combs then came up to the window and started talking to Ventura. Nash testified that Combs told her he would put extremely explicit videos of her on the internet, and Combs said he was going to release them on schedule and start by sending them to her parents' job. Nash said he said Combs also told Ventura he was the only one that protected her. How he ain't protecting nobody but himself. He beating on her, but he ain't protecting her. He said Ventura was in tears as they drove away. Nash testified that he told Ventura that if Combs wanted to release the tapes, she should just let him since he'd be on the tapes too. And she said that he wasn't on the videos, that it was him taping her with other guys, Nash said. And Nash testified that Ventura said she didn't want to have X with the other men, but she did it because Puff wanted her to. So that shows like she didn't want to participate. Even if she wanted to participate in one freak off, as soon as she said no, it was over. He should have respected her choice. All right. So Nash, from there, Dante Nash, his boss, stylist Derek Roche, called him to say he had given Nash's address to Sean Diddy Combs, who was on his way there. See, he was relentless. He wanted what he wanted at the time. I believe he wanted her to do a freak off, and Cassie was refusing. So Nash then dropped Cassie Ventura off on Sunset Boulevard so she could catch a cab. When Roach, Combs, and his security arrived at Nash's house, Combs searched the house, asking where Ventura was. He looked in the oven. What? I don't know why he looked in the oven. I don't know either. Combs then took Nash's phone, which showed Ventura was calling him from a nearby hotel. Combs then demanded that Nash drive to the hotel while he followed so Nash could get Ventura to come out the hotel. Nash knew the staff at the hotel, so Combs told him to sweet talk his way up to Ventura's room. Combs' security guard and chief of staff, Tony Fletcher, went with Nash up to her room. Ventura was frightened when they got there. When they told her to go downstairs to Combs waiting outside, Ventura said she was going to go over the balcony. She said, I'd rather jump off the balcony than go downstairs to that monster. Thumbs up this video, y'all, okay? She was suicidal. She was suicidal at this point. All right. So Nash testified that when he left the hotel, he noticed a car was following him and thought it was Combs security. He said he turned off his lights and sped away until he lost them, and then went to a different hotel to spend the night. I didn't think my home was safe to go to that night. Child. Y'all wonder why she couldn't get away? Look at how he acts. Nash said when he returned to his home the next morning, his backpack containing his ID, $1,000 in cash, and his iPad had been stolen. So, like, anybody that was in the orbit of Cassie, they were just collateral damage. He didn't care. So then he testified that Combs was violent with him during 2013. I told you, Diddy did not discriminate. He did not discriminate. Men, women, he didn't care. Everybody could get the paws on him. It was all about him having his way. I'm telling you, that's why he's addicted to power. So Dante Nash, a celebrity stylist and friend of Cassie Ventura, also testified that Sean Diddy Combs was violent with him a few times. Nash recalled an occasion around 2013 during a music video shoot for Ventura when Combs attacked him while he was outside smoking a cigarette. Combs grabbed Nash and threw him on a parked car, saying, Nash, I thought I told y'all about going out. Y'all wilding. Nash testified that Combs was referring to the occasion he testified about earlier when Combs told Nash he couldn't go out because Ventura would want to go with him. She was trying to stay away from you in the freak off, sir. So Nash, he testified he saw Sean Diddy Combs slap Ventura across the face one time in 2015. Nash said they were with a few other people in a parking lot outside of a music studio when he heard a commotion. Nash said he looked over and saw Combs slap Ventura across the face and say, get this bitch out of here. Like, he is on some New Jack City. He a cross between Nino Brown and what's that movie Terrence Howard was in when he was a pimp? You know it's hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to get this money for the rent. Yeah. This is pimping on steroids. So Nash said he took Ventura away and she was in tears. The stylist also testified that he FaceTimed with Ventura while she was getting ready for The Perfect Match, the movie premiere in 2016. So this is the beating after the hotel beating. Nash said he noticed she had a black eye. Nash said he saw her in person at the premiere event and could see the black eye under the makeup. He said he also noticed Combs grabbing at her side during the event. Nash also testified he observed bruises on Ventura's legs, arms, necks quite often. So this was a regular thing, the beatings that she went through. This is a regular thing. So now his testimony speaks to the element of control. All right. So he testified that Cassie' entire persona, her wardrobe, her hair, that was all controlled by Combs. But more so, he had actually heard Combs say, "I'm going to beat you." That he had heard Combs say, "I'm not going to release your music," and that he had heard Combs say that he was actually going to get her parents fired. So all of these things are threats that speak not only to the underlying RICO charge, which, by the way, looking back to the indictment, part of the prosecution's narrative is that he coerced women into romantic relationships under the guise of dating, but it's really for the purposes of engaging in ex trafficking. So for those of you who are out there talking about y'all don't see the RICO, y'all must be as blind as Ray Charles, because all the elements are there. All right. So Nash also testified he would help Cassie Ventura hide from Combs, often at hotels. Combs would then blow everyone's phone up. Nash said, describing how Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram, KK, will also call them saying Combs had calmed down and they should come back to the house. Girl, bye. Why would you want another woman to experience that type of trauma? Nash testified that he talked to Coram about the violence against Ventura, and Coram said she'll speak to Combs about it, Nash said, but the violence continued. Nash testified that he never reported any of the violence he witnessed out of fear that Combs would retaliate. This seems to be the common theme of most of the testimony we have heard. He has instilled fear in all of his staff. All right, Nash, a celebrity, we know he's a celebrity star, testified that Ventura would go to the hotel with Sean Diddy Combs about weekly. He said he often saw her packing a black duffel bag with sex toys for these stays. Nash testified that Ventura told him she didn't want to go, but she did because he wanted her to. Nash recounted the night they celebrated Ventura's 29th birthday. This is coming up again. Okay? Tiffany Red, she was the first one to speak out about this on I believe it was CBS or Fox News or one of them. All right. Here it is. The narrative has not changed. We got different players with the same story. So Nash recounted the night they celebrated Ventura's 29th birthday. Nash testified that Combs and Ventura argued at dinner, and Combs told her he did everything for her, but she couldn't do this one thing. And that one thing, he wanted her to do a freak off, remember? Coercion at its finest. Nash said Ventura told him that Combs was mad because I don't want to go to the hotel and freak off with him. She said that. She wanted to celebrate her birthday. After going to karaoke bar, then returning to Ventura's house, Nash said Combs confronted Ventura and later told the group she would be leaving with him. Ventura packed a bag with personal items and money, telling Nash she didn't want to go, but she felt she had no choice. This is damning testimony right here. Nash testified that both Ventura and Combs appeared to be under the influence, with Ventura seemingly more affected. Well, I'm about to be under the influence because this is a lot. All right, and this is when they announced Cassie had her baby. Cassie had her baby. So congratulations to the Fines. Congratulations to them on a new baby boy. They have 2 little girls now, and now she has a boy. Like, to be quite honest, after all Cassie went through, she's lucky she's able to have kids, because he was making her do these free calls even when she had UTIs, when she was on her cycle. Cheers, Naughty Crew. Thumbs up this video. This is a lot. Okay, so Nash talked about when he stopped working for Diddy. So Nash said he stopped working for Diddy in 2018, but they've kept in touch, occasionally talking on the phone or over text message. He said he acted loving towards Combs when they spoke, despite everything he witnessed and personally endured. He noted that he has not pursued legal action or made a money demand against Combs. Nash said he's still close to Ventura and they speak pretty often, he said. And when he asked how he feels about Combs now, Nash said, I don't hate him. I mean, I don't. It's just not in me. He added. I noticed it's like everyone who worked for him has Stockholm syndrome, because they do that out of fear. So the prosecution wrapped up their direct examination. And this is when the defense is like, court may go later. Prosecutor Maureen Comey asked the judge if they could stay late today, because they usually wrap up around 3. And so he approved for them to stay to 4. And then cross-examination begins. And let me tell you something. The defense is doing a lot of filler busting. Everything they try to ask, it doesn't really stick. It's weird. All right, so the defense attorney asked Nash if he was considering pursuing civil litigation against Combs. He said, no, I'm focused on getting out of here. And Donaldson asked Nash if he retained counsel to consider suing Combs. He said, I have counsel to protect me. I don't do federal court. So then the defense asked Nash about his relationship with Miss Ventura. And he said, he corrected. He said, Mrs. Fine. Nash corrected. All right. On cross-examination, defense attorney Xavier Donaldson confirmed with Nash that he became a celebrity stylist after first being hired as an intern for Bad Boy Entertainment. Donaldson suggested Sean Diddy Combs help Nash get his start, to which Nash said, go ahead. And Nash also confirmed he helped Cassie Ventura select her wedding dress for her and Alex's wedding. So during cross-examination, the celebrity stylist Dante Nash confirmed that music label like Bad Boy Entertainment had an interest in making sure their artists appeared a certain way. And so the defense asked Nash if it was important for the person running the label to make sure an artist's clothing looked good. He said sometimes, yeah. He also testified that Cassie Ventura did photo shoots for a clothing brand that was not affiliated with Bad Boy around 2015 and 2016. Nash said Diddy was still hands-on and approved both the partnership with the brand and the photos. Donaldson suggested that since Combs allowed Ventura to work with the brand, the music mogul wasn't holding her back. You know, his kids, they're under the same control too. He controls their careers and what they could do. Like, cause the creator of Empire, they wanted Quincy to be on that show first, and Diddy stopped it. They definitely all have Stockholm syndrome, including the kids. So then at this point, the celebrity stylist asked for a break. Then he came back to the stand wearing a jacket. Now they're saying, because I was in the overflow room. I wasn't in the main courtroom, but they said the overflow room was chilly, but the main courtroom, they said is freezing. So Dante Nash is back on the stand wearing a jacket and then have it on before. And he said, "It's freezing in here. How do y'all do this all day?" He said. They trying to keep them from falling asleep because in the overflow room, people was drooling and everything, okay? I'm telling y'all, the action is outside of the courtroom. Seriously. So Nash confirms that he spoke with Cassie yesterday to congratulate her on her new baby. He said that Combs only approved Ventura's look styles, he says. So all the other Bad Boy artists have free creative reign, but not Cassie. This speaks to the control he had. So then he testifies about the drug use, okay? He said that he had seen Cassie Ventura take drugs, okay, including Molly and X, at times inside of her home. Nash testified that he smokes the Mary Jane. He said one of his meetings with prosecutors was cut short after he told them he had smoked beforehand. I would have too. Shit, this shit is stressful. All right, we already talked about that. And then the judge dismisses the jury for the day. Then Combs' defense is saying that they don't have enough time to discuss the case with him. So Mark Agnofilia is again raising concerns that his team doesn't have enough time. Well, you need to blame your client because he wanted a speedy trial. This is a speedy trial. The prosecution says they are ahead of schedule. On point, okay? And that's pretty much the testimony for today. Okay, we heard from the LAPD officer that responded to Kid Cudi's call. We also heard from the fire investigator or arson investigator, and then we heard from not only Diddy's former assistant but Cassie's friend to the treatment. Y'all let me know what y'all think, you guys. At this point, I think the prosecution has a solid case. I'm gonna drop the link just in case anyone wants to sound off really quick. All right. Not trying to be up here all night. But lots happened today, and I feel like the testimony today further corroborates the RICO. And I'm interested to see how the defense is going to respond. I'm interested to know who they have on their witness list. I really feel like, because like when I was there the other day, I felt like they asked a lot of filibuster questions that didn't even matter, didn't even make a difference. Like, where are you going with this? And I really feel like they're doing that because they really don't have a freaking defense. Yeah, I really think he is going down. It's time to pay the piper. I mean, this man has gotten away with so much for so long. It's just it's time. Like, he's been a threat to society. And for all the people out here saying that um um Cassie was complicit. They all were complicit at one point in time. But at the end of the day, when you getting knocked between a washer and a dryer every other day, does she really have a choice? Okay. But meantime, you know what Diddy wishing for and hoping for? That Donald Trump pardons him. He done pardoned Larry Hoover, chill, okay? He pardoned everybody, okay? Jay Prince thanks Donald Trump for commuting Larry Hoover's sentence. He has been pardoned. So Jay Prince celebrates ex-Chicago gang leader and founder of the Gangster Disciples, Larry Hoover, on having his sentence commuted by President Trump. Wow. So this is Jay Prince thanking him. Thank you to President Trump and the angel from heaven, my sister, for allowing the creator to work through. All right, so we went over this morning how he gave Todd Chrisley and his wife Julie Chrisley a pardon. It looks like NBA YoungBoy was pardoned by Donald Trump, and he issued a statement. He thanking him. Okay, so he handed out pardons everywhere. All right, because when it was just the Chrisleys this morning, I'm like, white privilege. Do y'all feel like he's being fair? Good for Larry Hoover. I don't know how many years he's been in, but I think they locked him up for life. But do you think he's doing a good thing? I don't know. You think Trump going to pardon Diddy? I don't know. How do pardons work? Like, do you have to be sentenced? You do love the Chrisleys. Let's ask Google. Can a person get a pardon while on trial? Okay, here you go. Maybe because I mean he's going to be in office for 3 more years. It says Google says no, a pardon is not typically granted while a person is on trial. Pardons are generally granted after an individual has been convicted and has completed their sentence or is serving their sentence. They can also be granted to individuals who have been charged with a crime but not yet convicted. They can also be granted to individuals who have been charged. So the answer is yes. Yes, a pardon is. Okay, so it's saying in the beginning that it's not typically granted while the person is on trial. I don't know. Thank you so much, Marvin. Yeah, I like Nanny on the Chris Lee Knows Best. I like Nanny. Okay. I don't know. Diddy was bad mouthing Trump, y'all. And I have it on. Let me see if I can find it. YouTube. That's back in the day. And remember, his son sat down with DJ Academics and he was talking about Kim Porter, because Kim Porter was friends with his ex-wife. They used to model together. And when Kim Porter passed away, he said his ex-wife called him like, something's not right there. And remember, he was laying the paws on Kim. And you see his girls, they not even showing up for him. Because this is my thing. Like, if you treated her like this, you must have treated my mama like this. Let me tell you, Diddy has many, many personalities. And I think that's what's going on. And he's a chameleon. He will adjust to any environment that he's in. He's a charmer. He's a snake charmer. This is it. Fair use. Shout out to you. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to the chat. Ooh.
I really do believe in my heart there'll be a race war. That's why this message is not just to black people. You know what I'm saying? This message is to everybody. This man is really trying to turn us against each other and put us in a situation. America messed up. Me and you've been talking for a minute about, you know, chopping it up and some real talk, you know what I'm saying? Where it's not for the whole social media effect. Like when I look at the videos of like, you know, Malcolm, Martin, Stokely, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could have seen a black man conversation. I couldn't talk to nobody about what we want to talk about with you. You know what I'm saying? That's a testament to your journalism. Man, you're inspiration to me,
I want to see where you at. I want to see where you at. You know, you sparked a crazy conversation. And you told everybody to hold their vote.
Yeah.
I want to see where you at.
So a couple of months, I told everybody hold their vote hostage. A lot of things have gone on since then. None of us expected. I think this president has done a great job of rattling America. When you move in fear, you don't have any leverage. The way I felt before is the way I still feel. Things have got too serious of a point. And seeing what's going on, white men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking, it's real dangerous. This man literally threatened the lives of us and our families about going to vote.
Stand back and stand by.
Stand back and stand by.
Yeah.
We're in a war. We're not taking this like it's a war. We're taking this like, oh, we're in a presidential election. We're in a war of love versus hate. The number one priority is to get Trump out of office. The tribe of people that have the responsibility and really should be scared to death of this man is white people.
That right there is the reason why I think he won't pardon him. That right there, because Trump is a master narcissist too.
Explain.
If this man is elected, we're not standing by no more getting killed. We're not scared of anybody standing up and standing by. We're on the verge of a race war. If people in America want a race war, they'll not vote. I'm an independent, first of all. When I vote, I try to do what's best for my community.
Let's be clear on that. You're not standing behind your decision to hold your.
Wow, look at the difference compared to what we're hearing in testimony. This man wants us to believe he's for the community and things like that. That's why I say he's a chameleon. And look who he sat down with. Please thumbs up the video. He sat down with Charlemagne the Devil.
To vote anymore. You want people to go out there and vote.
It would be irresponsible of me to have us hold our vote hostage. But it would also be irresponsible of me to just let this moment go by. The world is watching, and not do everything I can to make sure that going forth that we are part of the narrative, that we own our politics. And so I'm launching one of the boldest movements that I've ever launched. And it's called Our Black Party.
Okay.
It's time for us to have our own Black political party, unapologetically. Because right now, if you look at the debates, we're not even a part of the conversation.
Not at all.
We're not a part of the conversation. We don't have any political power. We don't have any political leverage. And so we started Our Black Party with some young, fearless Black activists, elected officials, and I've stepped up and put the money behind it. This is the biggest threat in the...
No, sir. No, sir. You are the biggest threat. You are the biggest snake in the grass. Because it's people like you that pretend like you're rallying behind your people. You rope us in and then you pounce on us once you get what you want out of the deal. I take you to Jay-Z, and when he was building the Barclays Center, right? It's going to bring jobs back to Brooklyn. It's going to be good for the community and things like that. So dead smack in downtown Brooklyn, they build this huge stadium, right? Jay-Z gets everybody on board, and once it's built and up and running, he sells his shares and only keeps ownership of 2 floor seats. It was the 52 fake out at his final. Uno reverse. Like, Diddy is just like Donald Trump. This is a whole gaslighting interview. But his words will come back to bite him. And because of this interview, I do not think Donald Trump will give him a pardon. Because what's the number one thing narcissists don't like? I'll wait. What is the number one thing narcissists don't like? I'm going to see if y'all got y'all thinking caps on. Other than narcissists, they don't like to be held accountable for any of their wrongdoings. They could call out everybody else's wrongdoings and shortcomings, but they don't like, because they have a God complex. They could do no wrong. They're perfect. They're perfect in their mind. You know, that's just my take on it. I do not think that Donald Trump is going to pardon Diddy at all. We'll see where he's at the end of his term. But he letting out Larry Hoover, one of the biggest gangsters of Chicago. We'll see how that pans out. Like, is he too old to gangbang now? Keefy D wasn't too old. He was still only in thinking. Ooh, he still lived by the street code. Ciao. All right, you guys. So tomorrow's gonna be raining, and I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the trial. It wasn't that bad. It was fun, or whatever. I'm gonna dress accordingly. Wow. Puff said, when you move in fear, you don't have any leverage. That is just deep, and it's true. But it's about his victims, too. When you move in fear, insert name here, Cassie, etc. Thank you so much. That's so true. And you know what? Diddy still got money. He still got money. He kind of made suggestions of doing a mistrial in regards to his defending him. He may want to get a new team, which will push the trial out further. He will still be held without bail. Okay? Because Diddy did not move like he was an innocent man. The reason why, they were going to let him turn himself in, but they found out he was tampering with witnesses. Kalina, he called her, and Kalina's the other bandmate from Diddy Dirty Money. He called her, like they said, 50 times. And he still continued to try to contact her from within the prison. And he was using other inmates' PIN codes and everything to contact people that could possibly testify. That is not moving like you're an innocent man to me. You're not innocent moving like that. Cause look, it's still plenty of people that have gotten up on the stand thus far, and they still praise Diddy. One of the assistants got up there and said, Diddy is a god among men. I mean, Chantel, you got a point. Money talks. Like if he got him, if he willing, because right now at this point he not a billionaire. How much you think a pardon ticket would cost? Y'all put a price on it. Coming from Donald Trump, who is a billionaire, how much do you think he would accept? I think it'll cost him about $10 million. That's on the low end. That's on the low end. That's on the low end. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna try to get my behind to the trial tomorrow to get this footage for y'all. I wanted, because Mia is supposed to be victim number 2, so I really want to be there for the testimony. And if you ask me, Cassie was the number 1 victim. Then doing Rashad, she's also a victim. I don't want to discount the pain that she went through. And then Mia should be victim number 3. And Deontay, his assistant that just testified, he was also a victim too. Diddy laid hands on him as well. Diddy need his ass kicked. Like Diddy, I swear, all he need is, why this change like this? I tell you, StreamYard. Yeah, I like this view anyway. This all Diddy need, y'all. Somebody drop kick that ass in the right way. Somebody drop kick that ass in the right way. 20, Chantel said 20 million. Mm-hmm. He could buy his way out of it, but is the world a safe place with him in it? To be quite honest, I don't even feel comfortable with the Jimenez brothers coming out. I ain't even comfortable with Gypsy Rose running around. I'm just saying. Like the Chrisleys, they had non-violent crimes. You know what I mean? I can live with that. But these people be red rumming people. The Menendez brothers took out both their parents. Y'all let me know. Would y'all be comfortable with the diddler running around? Knowing all that we know? Right. Here at the Naughty Love Movement, we are all about love. We do not condone bullying. Yo, I ain't comfortable with none of these people coming out. Y'all tell me, you think the world will be a safer place with the Menendez brothers running around? Jesus, they don't let Gypsy Rose reproduce. There's something off about her. Something off. And I think as life start wearing on her, Jesus Christ, something off about that chick. There's people that took out their parents. On purpose. Like, the evidence was there. Like, Diddy stuff is all circumstantial. You know, we still trying to establish, you know, what his involvement was with, you know, allegedly, in my opinion, Heavy D, Andre Harrell, Tupac, Biggie, Chris Lighty, Kim Porter. You know, we still need some direct evidence. I'm just saying. Hey, Dustin.
How you doing? How you doing today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. How you?
I'm good. What are your thoughts about day 11?
I'm shocked. I'm really not surprised, but I'm saying I'm kind of surprised about you know how things are turning. You know, I'm still kind of 50-50 about this, but I'll go see what the rest of the 8 weeks brings, and I'll try to, you know, I can. I'm very shocked about what happened today.
As far as Deontay's testimony, or
That's right, Deontay. Yeah,
I feel like he really corroborated a lot of the force and the
Right.
coercion and the control that he
That's
had
right.
over Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
I
his
think he. I
testimony
think.
was
I
definitely
think.
damaging to the defense.
It shocks me. It shocks me because I didn't know I didn't realize how much control he had over people, uh, how much he had control over Cassie Ventura. That just really shocks me that he had that much control over that one person, and control over anybody. To be honest with you, I didn't
I
think.
wasn't surprised because back in the day when Wendy Williams outed him for being gay, he had
Right.
her fired immediately. Like, she had to go all the way to Philadelphia to get work.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't hear about that part, but I was kind of surprised about that, you know. But I guess so. You
He's a
know.
gatekeeper in the music industry. Him and Jay-Z, they're both gatekeepers. But Diddy is very vindictive and controlling. So if you do not submit or bend to his will and do what he says, he'll make sure you'll never work again. And that's what Capricorn Clark testified to yesterday. And that was
Right.
over her. Look, she was just trying to be a professional, not be in his personal business. And he was mad that she did not tell him about Cassie and Kid Cudi, even though she saw him with Kim Porter and all these other women that he flaunted around. Capricorn Clark owe loyalty to him as an employee.
Right.
It was her duty to tell on Cassie. I just think his demands are unrealistic and they cross the lines of employer and employee.
Correct. I mean, if you're an employer, if you're an employer, you don't do that much stuff. But when you're you know, I think a lot of things are going on behind closed doors, and it's really opens up my eyes about this trial today. You know, it really does. Um, it was really shocking to me, you know, very much so. Because I didn't realize how much of a controlling person he really was, or he is a controlling person. He's probably still the same way, even though he's back behind back in jail. You know, I think he's probably still controlling as much as he can be in prison as well.
He's not even letting his defense defend him. Like, when Cassie's mom got on the stand, he wouldn't let them cross-examine her. And
Why?
he told him no. Hey, Miss Amy. He told him no, don't question her any further. And Kid Cudi too.
See, and that just shows me the controlling side of him that I didn't know about.
He's getting in his own way for sure.
That's
And
surprising.
remember Mace. Thank you, Chantel. Mace. He blackballed Mace pretty much
Yeah.
and owed him money. Mace and Mace came out and said because he was like, you know, people want to know why I can't sue Diddy because he got everything in his mother name. It's nothing in his name. You not able to get money from him.
Right. Mm.
But a lot of his artists
So you
ultimately
think? So you think? So you think that he put all the stuff in her name just so he was protected of?
so he can evade for many different reasons. It's
Right.
all ultimately to protect himself.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care
Wow.
if he takes anyone else down, and that's why it was important when everyone brought forth these lawsuits that they included not only his name but his mother too. But his mother's being sued too by Kurt Burrows, who was former CEO of Bad Boy, and they basically hoodwink him out of his shares in the company,
Right.
pushed him out. So I mean, Diddy is definitely a shrewd businessman, but he's done a lot of people dirty.
Mm.
A lot of people.
And I'm starting to see that now since we're doing this trial.
Exactly. Who got rich after Notorious B.I.G. Was deleted and taken away from us too soon? Diddy profited off of that the most.
Wow.
Anybody want to know the motive? Because Biggie was about to leave and do his own thing, and he didn't want to lose that stream of income.
And that's sad. That's sad to me because you shouldn't be controlling. You shouldn't be controlling a person like that to that level, and to let him.
Biggie Smalls is a part of the Bad Boy legacy. Without him, it pretty much really wasn't any Bad Boy. I mean, he had Craig Mack. Craig Mack was like a one-hit wonder. You know, most of his artists are one-hit wonders, to be quite honest. The only ones that are still like performing now are I don't know if you know the group 112.
I heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're still performing. Now they don't talk bad against him.
They're still performing even though he's in prison.
Yeah. But you know, I think with 112, they family had history in the music industry. I think they just knew how to handle their business and they knew to take their contracts to lawyers and things like that to negotiate for them. And so
Right.
they didn't get the short end of the stick. See, Diddy, a lot of his artists, you have to remember, he got a lot of people out of the projects and things like that, where they didn't grow up in an environment where they learned about handling business, right? And also they're poor, so they're just happy. Like he give them maybe $10,000 bonus or whatever, and they feel like they on top of the world. And in the meantime, he's blindsiding them with these 360 contracts, and they don't find out until after the fact that they sound the deal with the devil.
Well, that's just. I feel bad for the victims. Like I said yesterday, I feel bad for the victims more than I do him because he's getting what he deserves. He's getting time in prison, and I think he's gonna be in there for a long time. But it affects the victim more than it. I don't know. I just feel bad for the victims. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? As far as the recording artists, right? They live to see another day. But what about the artists like Cassie, who had to go through these brutal beatings on a daily basis and also be pimped out, to random strangers? Like she had no or no say in what she did with her body. He took all of that away from her.
And
You
that's
know,
that's
those are
about.
stars that are going to live with her forever.
Yeah, and you're gonna be scarred for life, unfortunately.
And I'm glad she got $20 million and $10 million from the Intercontinental Hotel. She earned every penny of it.
Yeah, I'm glad of that too. I'm glad she got a settlement from DD or whatever you want to call him, DD, Sean Combs, anything. But I just, it just makes me my eyes are way open. Naughty Love, it really is. And when you cover this trial like you have been, I find out a lot of stuff from you that I didn't know before. So thank you for covering this trial like you have on your channel. Yeah.
No problem. It's my pleasure. And you know what? I lived through this era. You know, I seen a lot of the dirt and the grind and the come up of the hip hop community. I also seen the fallouts of all
Right.
these relationships through the years. And then he kind of fizzled out for a while. But people need to understand the way Diddy operates. Everyone around him that he surrounds himself with has a purpose. Even Young Miami, her purpose was to make him popping again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bring attention to him again, or whatever. And come to find out, he's a whole fraud. He was this overpriced brand ambassador for Diageo. He didn't even own it. You know, and 50 Cent had broke that how those liquor deals, you know, work or whatever. And one of the things that stood out to me that he said is, as long as it's a partnership, those big corporations are okay with you, as long as like they'll let you make, because Diddy made a lot of money off of Diageo. He was making like $60 million a year, right?
Yeah.
That's just off the Ciroc. Now, then when it switched over to the De Leon and tequila or whatever, Diddy started to get greedy. Now he wants ownership, and that's where the conflict came in. They still want you to be that bootlicking boy, peddling they you know, and he did a lot for Ciroc.
Wow.
Hey, Tails.
Hey, Tails.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
I just wanted to. I'm sorry, I missed like 70 something minutes of the live.
It's okay.
I don't know what all you covered.
I covered today's testimony in the trial. So today, the LAPD officer that responded to Kid Cudi's burglary testified, and also the LAPD arson investigator testified, and Diddy's ex-assistant and Cassie's friend and stylist, Deontay Nash, testified, and he corroborated a lot of incidents where he witnessed that Diddy controlled Cassie. He talked about several beatings that he witnessed. He was also beaten by Diddy at one point in time. He also witnessed Diddy threaten to put XCX tapes out on Cassie because she didn't listen to him one time. So he threatened to send it to her parents first to get them fired, and then send it to her itch ass brother next or whatever. And then he said he was going to release it on the internet. And so Deontay was like, well, Cassie, why don't you let him just release it? Because he's on the tapes too. And she said, no, he's not. He's taping me sleeping with these random prostitutes. You know, it's just me or whatever. So like he corroborated a lot of the control, of the coercion, and the force. And Cassie admitted to Deontay a few times that she did not want to participate in the freak offs.
So that definitely coercion, and that's illegal, and that goes to RICO 66666.
So the defense did try to move for a mistrial. The judge kindly dismissed them. But you know, still the lawyer from the YSL trial, he's on the case too. That's what he did in the YSL case. He constantly called for a mistrial. That's his style of defending, I guess.
Oh, Brian Steele?
Brian Steele, yup. He's on Diddy's defense.
Yeah, Brian Steele is amazing, but I don't even think he can help Diddy at this point.
And I feel like the defense is grasping at straws at this point, because like when they were questioning Capricorn Clark and stuff, they kept asking the same question over and over again, like you were going to get a different answer. And I'm just like, they just like filibustering, like wasting the court's time at this point to delay things. But there's whisper that Diddy may try to move for a mistrial so he could get, I guess, a new defense team. But I mean, that would be a waste of money at this point. And
Yeah,
this is what he asked for. He asked for a speedy trial.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, this is what Diddy asked for. He asked for a speedy trial, and now the defense is complaining that they don't have time to prepare. And I'm just wondering if like witnesses are backing out. Like, what would the defense witness list be? Who would testify for him? I guess all them people outside of the courthouse with the free puff t-shirts that he paid $20 an hour.
So let me ask you a question. Now, do you think that he's gonna get a mistrial? 'Cause I don't think it's gonna happen, but do you think it's gonna happen?
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
I don't think it's gonna happen because the stuff they try to mistrial on, like they were questioning the LAPD officer, or no, the arson investigator. They asked him, was there a fingerprint card taken? And he said yes. And they said, what happened to the fingerprint card? And he said, I was ordered to destroy it by the LAPD. And so that's when they tried to move for the first mistrial. But the defense also had questions along the lines of like the DNA that was found on the scene and stuff like that. So like, how you going to ask for a mistrial because the prosecutor is asking really routine questions, you know? He wasn't testifying as an expert. He's testifying as the evidence that was gathered on the scene.
Right.
Well, hold
that was
on.
a part of the shop.
Back up a little bit. Hold on. Did you say that one of the witnesses literally corroborated corruption in these police forces? Did I hear that right?
And that's why that's why the defense tried to move for a mistrial, because they tried to say that the prosecution was alluding that Mr. Combs was responsible for the fingerprints disappearing, and that's not what they said at all. They just asked him like, were there fingerprints taken from the scene? He said yes. And they asked, well, what happened to the fingerprint card? And he responded, he said, the LAPD instructed me to destroy it.
Wow.
And so that's what they scared. Because remember, at the beginning of all this, we were all saying, like, what about, like, all these police officers that he's paying off? Like, the defense jumped in there right away. But the judge was like, nope.
But this goes back to what you were saying. You know, he's cutting off his nose to spite his face because he wanted a speedy trial. But this trial is so big and encompasses so much. Like, what was he thinking? What, he just wanted to get it over with? He just wanted to go underneath the bill? I don't understand what he was doing with that and why his lawyers would allow him for a speedy trial, because this sounds like there could be new charges, because what?
Right.
I'm blown.
So
Right?
my theory is the reason why he requested for a speedy trial is because he kept getting denied for bail.
Yeah.
So now he feel trapped, right? Like, oh, they not going to give me bail. But look at how many things they found reason not to give him bail. He was doing things still once he was locked up. Like, he was still like trying to tamper with witnesses. He was like breaking the law within the prisons, the rules, like using other people's PIN codes and things like that. And so because of his conduct and his behavior, the judge, look, he's finally being held accountable. Like, no, you're a risk. Look at what you're doing in the prison or whatever. And so I felt like his back was against the wall. And he's like, all right, well, since they're not going to give me bail, I want to speed up the trial process. Because in his mind, he's innocent. He's going to get off.
In my mind, he's guilty, and I'm gonna say allegedly, but he's guilty in my mind. I think that everybody that has common sense thinks he's guilty. So I'm just gonna say that real quick. I'm gonna say allegedly for that. Sorry about that.
He's innocent until proven guilty. I'm just here providing the deets. Form your own opinion.
Well, that's my opinion. I do apologize. Go ahead.
But with all the beatings that he gave to Cassie, let me see. Here we go. It made me think when Deontay was testifying today about his fake ass apology that he gave to Cassie. This right here.
There's times in your life, sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, go into rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry.
That nigga ain't sorry.
I'm committed to be a better man each and every day.
Right. He is sorry.
I'm not asking for forgiveness.
He is sorry for excuse for a ninja. What? So how many? This is what he meant when he got that award. Cassie, thank you for getting me through the dark time. No, Cassie, thank you for taking all these fists in my feet and your guts. He split her eye open. Like a boxer, you know, when boxers, when they be fighting, they get in the 9th, 10th round, they eyes split open, they corner. When they go in the corner, they got to put Vaseline over it to keep the blood from dripping. That's how bad he split her eye open. How many dark times did you have, Diddy? Child, poor Cassie. She went through so much. Thumbs up this video. Hey, Casey Boo. I'm gonna drop the link. Y'all let me know what y'all. I want to hear what y'all think about how you feel the defense and the prosecution is. I think the prosecution has a solid case. I really, really do. I think they're doing a good job of proving racketeering.
I think the prosecution had the solid case from day one. That's just my opinion. I think they had a solid case. I don't think they would be doing this if they didn't think they would have a solid case.
Well, they the feds. The feds not gonna bring a case unless they got evidence.
Exactly. 98.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be spending a long time in prison. That's just my opinion.
If you ask me, the defense looks weak sauce right now. Thumbs up this video. They don't even know what questions to ask. They skipping on cross-examination on witnesses.
Right. And I see Chantel Warren said taking responsibility because he got caught on camera, which is exactly what it was, because up until that very moment he had been saying that nothing Cassie said was true. And once he made that video, he was done for. Just done. Cooked. Burnt like toast. So yeah. And to everybody saying that they don't see Rico, I wonder if they're seeing Rico now.
I've been seeing Rico.
Right.
From the first testimony of the security guard from the Intercontinental Hotel, I saw Rico.
Crazy word.
Because why you trying to pay him off to keep him silent? And thank God he didn't take it. But how many other people took the money? You see what I'm saying? Like, silence creates more victims. Even Capricorn Clark got to pay out. I mean, as she should. She got her behind whooped for it. She got kidnapped for it. So that's why I'm not mad at these ladies asking for their money.
I mean, heck no, get your bread. I mean, you earned it for sure.
Capricorn Clark said she used to work from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning, 7 days a week.
And didn't get paid for it.
Right. And then the HR consultant gave her a slip of how much Diddy owed her in overtime, and it was $80,000, and she gave it to Diddy, and he ripped it up. This is enslavement. He want to say he for our community. Look what he be doing to his own people. He enslaves them. This reminds me of what the slave master used to do to like the men that were big and prideful. They call it buck breaking. Hey, James. Ricola Diddy is cooked. I'm telling you, today's testimony was I thought Capricorn Clark's testimony was damaging. This assistant today drove it home. And I know the defense is shaking in their boots.
Like I
And
said, they slowly building. They slowly just.
They're proving the coercion. They're proving the forced labor. They're proving that Cassie was not a willing participant like everybody says. Oh, Cassie, she was down. She was down. What people need to understand, even if she was down to do it, say 5 times, as soon as she said no to that one time, that was it.
That part, Naughty. That part. People forget consent is always needed, regardless of doing it time and time again. The first time she said no, or the first time he presented her with coercion, because her yeses could have been coerced, which is the same thing as no consent.
Right. I mean, he's threatening to get her parents fired. Imagine all that looming over your head. She felt trapped. And anytime she would try to get away, and that's what today's witness, Dante, did. Like, he tried to help her get away. Diddy will always find them. And he would just come in beating her. It's a lot of people that tried to hide Cassie, but he would just like he didn't even know where the assistant lived, but Diddy contacted his boss and got his address.
Well, you know, I was watching something the other day and they were talking about, you know, Diddy being like the middle of the tier of the debauchery that's going on in the entertainment industry. And I'm wondering if we're ever going to get the bigger one, like Clive Davis, for example.
We need to get the big fish.
Yes. Who allegedly is where he learned all of this maniacal behavior. And that's been going around for a long time.
Right.
I don't know. I guess we got to do one peg at a time, knock one peg down at a time, I guess.
I mean, that's what we've been doing since what? Harvey Weinstein, it was Harvey Weinstein, then was Bill Cosby, then was R. Kelly, and now we have Diddy. But what about Jimmy Iovine? A lot of people got lawsuits brought against them. It wasn't just Diddy. Diddy got the most. But what about Vin Diesel? What about Jimmy Iovine? What about Har Pierre? Andre Harrell? Is that Andre Harrell?
What is Vin Diesel? First time hearing about Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah, he had a SA lawsuit brought against him as well. Right around when right after Cassie dropped hers.
Wow,
he's got an SA lawsuit.
Up all the other ones sounds like.
Cuban Gooding Jr. got another look. He already got convicted of what 2, and now he got another one. So I mean, like these people are operating in plain sight in our community. But what I also discussed, the possibility because Trump pardoned who'd he pardon?
Larry Hoover and
NBA YoungBoy. And you know what? I'm glad he even the playing field because I felt like he was doing some privileged stuff with the Chrisleys or whatever. So I also do you think it's possible for him to pardon Diddy?
He did pardon Todd and Tori Chrisley today. He pardoned them.
Yeah, they got out. They're getting released. But
they got out today.
That's the thing. Diddy has enough money to pay for a pardon.
I don't think he's going to get pardoned right away, but I think that he legit he's pulled a lot of people's card, and it might happen eventually, like the Chrisleys had to go, because I just Googled them. I didn't know who they were at first, but apparently they guilty as hell, or heck, for YouTube purposes.
Mhm.
So I'm very disgusted about Larry Hoover being pardoned or exonerated or whatever the term is. Very disgusted.
Yes, and one of the points I brought up tells, and I was like, do we really want Larry Hoover back in society? I mean, he created the Gangster Disciples out of Chicago. He's like one of the nucleuses of why Chicago is so violent. Today, and I also said, like, I'm not even comfortable with the Menendez brothers coming back out in society. I mean, look at what they did to their parents. I'm not even comfortable with Gypsy Rose running around. You know what I'm saying?
And then NBA YoungBoy, he was exonerated as well. Like, this man is documented. It's documented all over old school Twitter. You know, during the beefs that he had, the things that he has done. And then I'm already seeing, you know, our community, FBA community, already celebrating this Larry Hoover being released, and I'm just like, come on, my people, no, this is not. I just feel like the red pill metaverse of it all, they are powerful entity. Like, they've got these men just.
What's Big Meech and Larry Hoover gonna do for society? They only know how to traffic.
Or you know, pow.
Yeah.
The fact that Jay Prince is already taking credit for helping to get him out, and we already know how foul he is. So
another gangster. So like, we're living in a society that basically rewards bad behavior, which is dangerous.
Or have influence, power, and money, because the regular, everyday Black person is not going to get away with none of this stuff.
Right. I mean, because there's so many people that are innocent behind bars that he could have pardoned. And
so many who have been state sanctioned pow.
Well, this is making me think like the purge is real. Like, it's really gonna happen. Like, he's giving police rights to make choices on our lives, and he's releasing OGs. I'm back on the street, you know, that's responsible for a lot of lives being lost. And it's just like, am I living in like an upside down society? Like, what is going on here?
Exactly.
I feel like we're living in the twilight zone sometimes. I don't feel like we're living in America, but we are, and it's sad it's sad to see what we're living in these days.
The nation that claims to be so, you know, quote unquote Christian is the most anti-Christian nation in the world.
And it's sad to say that, but thank you for saying
it. They condoning like all these this heinous behavior, you know. And you know, anytime Trump can go to the Bible Belt and get baptized, right, so that he can garner all those votes, that just told me like everyone is for sale in this country. And that's why I feel like Diddy can buy a pardon if he wanted to. Because money talks. We all know that.
I hope not. I really hope that this conviction sticks.
Me and you, I'm holding my breath, Tells. Seriously, because I done watched through the years this man get away with so much. Going back to the New York College incident, you know, innocent people lost lives. Why? Because he wanted to oversell tickets, to line his pockets, you know. And he was, what do you say? He was non-empathetic at all. Then you have the clubs incident, right?
Yes.
What gives you the right to put everybody in danger like that?
What is that line from that Jay-Z song? I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Oh,
not black. He's brother love or whatever he wants to call himself today. That is the mentality. Just like when Lil Wayne went on a nationally syndicated show and said that he doesn't think America is racist.
You know, I was watching Tasha K today, right? And she said she was on a plane in first class, and it was a gentleman sitting next to her. They, you know, they started to talking and sipping on a little something something, right? And it was a Caucasian gentleman, and he said, can I be candid with you about something, Tasha? She said, yeah. She said, look now, I don't want you to get offended, all right? And so she said, okay, give it to me. He said, we are not racist, we're prejudiced. Right?
I love when it's the caucasity for me. I love it when they try to explain to us what racism is, as if they have any idea.
Right.
I just have
No, but he made decent points. She said.
Oh.
He said, look, he said, it's just we believe, a lot of us believe in our culture, right? And he was like, don't you have cultures and traditions that you believe in? She said, yeah, or whatever. And so he was like, you know, and we just want to keep it pure. Is there anything wrong with that? Like, just like you want to be with a black man, that doesn't make you racist. You know, you just honor and respect your culture to the point or whatever. And so he was like, he's not against his daughter dating outside of the race or whatever. But he is gonna question like what the intent is a little more, because he has his belief system and his values.
See, no, that is not a good point. That is gaslighting at its finest. Racism isn't just about race; it's race plus power.
Right.
For someone who has the power in this country, as we can clearly, it's been clearly demonstrated with the election of the Orange Man. You cannot. It's equating apples and oranges. You can't say to a minority that if they want to reproduce within their own culture, it's the same thing. It's not equal at all. So that negates that point.
Mm-hmm.
And who is he to question what his child is doing or what his child wants to do? That's none of his business. What he's wanting to do is maintain the power dynamic, the white patriarchal system. See, no. I can't give him a point on that. I can't give him a point on blatant racism. I just can't do that.
Right. So what is the difference between prejudice and racism? That's the first thing that came to mind. Okay.
Well, there is a difference, but him being a white man in a systemic racist society that puts him as the power on top of the power dynamic,
and us suppressed.
and us,
Right.
oh no, you can't
And,
say.
and this, I'm sorry, Dustin, if this makes you uncomfortable, but there's a lot of ways that they set up systems in this country so that our people in particular cannot get ahead.
You know that I'm okay. It doesn't. You know, I'm okay, so it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. I know how this country goes. So you can say anything. I'm an open book. Naughty left. So there's a
All
lot.
right,
cool.
There's a lot of things that I know that goes on in this country, and it doesn't bother me. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And a lot of those ways they go on in other countries as well. You know what I mean? But a lot of things.
The only thing that I can say is it's very sad what goes on in our country, and it feel and there's nothing that surprises me that goes on a daily basis anymore. I see a lot of stuff on the news. I see a lot of stuff happening since the 47 took office that I don't agree with.
Right. And see, a lot of people don't see a lot of decisions he make is very
But
calculated. Right. On
but
one
I do.
hand, he'll get rid of DUI, which offers like equality within the workplace, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Where they can't discriminate against you in regards to your gender, race, so many things. You know what I mean? Like he got rid of that, but then on the other hand, he goes and pardons an original gangster of
Yeah,
Chicago.
because he doesn't care for the regular. He doesn't care for the regular people. He just cares about the people that makes the most money. I'm sorry, not any love, but that's the truth.
That is the truth. That is the truth. That's definitely facts. You know what I mean? But he's dangerous. A man like him is dangerous.
That's right.
So that's why I don't. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tels.
He pardoned a prolific mass, M-word of Black folk.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he had done that to that many white folk, he would not be getting a pardon. I'm talking about Larry Hoover, by the
way. Right.
So he's pardoning the worst of us, not the best of us. Not people who've been wrongly convicted, not people who have been overly incarcerated heavily, which happens in the Black community.
Like, like a person getting like 20 years for a bag of cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's over prosecution.
Right, exactly. And I just, I had to get off Reddit because so many people were, well, at least he's pardoning people. No, pardoning Larry Hoover is not what I would consider helping our community at all.
It's not helping. It's
He's
not helping
pardoning people like he was signing executive orders. Like he wasn't even really pardoning.
I know that there's probably young boy fans out there. I personally am not one of them. I do not listen to rap at all. He needs to be. All he had to do was sit in his house and sit real still. He couldn't even do that. He got I mean, come on. I'm frustrated. Here, let me just finish getting high so I can.
Girl, I'm on the edible right now. What did you have to say, Dustin? I had to after reading that, Cassie, the testimony.
No, I'm just saying that the only thing that I could say is for the regular people for the people that's watching on the live is stay prayed up because there's gonna be more crazy things go on in the next 4 years that we haven't never seen in it, and that's gonna be crazy. So just stay prayed up and
save your money.
You think that's still long?
Huh?
Gonna last 4 years. I'm gonna be honest.
You don't think he's gonna last 4 years?
No.
Yeah, but his term is 4 years.
Had a line in the world order. I always have my tinfoil hat on, Nadia. I always have my. He stepped up. He stepped out of line, and I think that he literally just pissed off Elon Musk today. So
I knew they wasn't going to last long.
I knew, yes, but I think they're gonna get him because he's not just bankrupting America. He is literally trying to bankrupt the world. Markets are not just down here. When America stops buying, when America stops consuming, the world market fails. I watch because of, sociology. I watch the stock markets because those are social indicators of what's going on.
Right.
So, it's not just America that's going to suffer for this. That's why I think China is.
It's the whole entire country.
Yeah, China. I think that's why China is digging in their heels. We owe our debt to China. How is America pay off that debt if we're not consuming? America consumes, like, I think the statistic is like 4 times as much the world. We are literally the gold mine. That's how much we spend. So, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna make it 4 years. Between either,
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How long do you think it's gonna last?
I'm going on with Gaza. Mm-hmm. I think Gaza and Ukraine are going to be linchpins.
Wow.
I agree.
Already being accused of war crimes when it pertains to those two issues, particularly when it comes to Gaza. And then what's going on in Ukraine, and Putin having his little temper tantrum, and
that's another thing he said. Well, I'm going to end the war and day one. You haven't ended it since.
No, he went into negotiations. Well, negotiations fell apart because he insulted the president of Ukraine.
Yeah.
You know what I think gonna happen? The Book of Revelations.
Yes.
That's what I think going to happen. I think nations will rise against nations, and I think they will gang up on us and attack us. I think that's possible.
Well, I mean, it's reading almost like the Book of Revelations. I always used to say my favorite book in the Bible was the Book of Revelations because it reads like a movie.
Right.
It reads like a movie, and it.
Right.
And so man, we lost it, but it's so many. The devil is busy, y'all. Bottom line, the devil is busy, and he working on a lot of folk. He working on your family dynamic. He working on your finances. Anything to pull at you to make you mentally weak. And I'm here to say we need to commit to doing things that are healthy for us, saving. Oh, James, he just said every 400 years an empire falls.
And that's the truth.
That's the truth. Work on learning how to protect yourself. Think ahead, think future. You know what I mean? Like, what would you do? Like, if we had no access to internet and it was hard for us to get food, we kind of went through that with the penny or whatever. But
With COVID, with
that's
the
not as bad as
pandemic.
it get.
Mhm.
That's not as bad as it can get. Like, what would you do if you had to start growing your own food?
Mhm.
Going buying a real chicken and having a coop so you can produce eggs.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, y'all. Like, you got to really start thinking a bit ahead. And I think people need to really stop being so dependent on technology and getting back to the roots of doing things the simple way. Like, when you used to heat up your food on a stove.
Yeah, I remember those days.
When it wasn't no microwave.
Hmm.
When you used to do stuff outside to entertain yourself, read, learning how to garden. Now you can have a garden inside your house. You don't even have to have an outside garden.
Nope.
But these are the skills that people need to get back to, in my opinion, so that you can survive a major crisis. And I'm just so happy I lived in a time where my parents taught me how to read maps, and I know how to live without technology. You know what I mean? That I think that's why it took me so long to really like kind of adapt and adjust to it. And I was definitely computer literate from last year of high school, but I didn't like the dependency on it or relying on it. I liked when I could remember a phone number. These phones have taken all that away. I don't know nobody number by heart except for my kids.
No, because it's right there in your phone for you. All you gotta do is click it.
Right. So yeah, Dustin, I appreciate your thoughts. Tells, I appreciate your thoughts too. Like, we gave you a lot of food for thought, but just look at the decisions our so-called leadership is making. Is it conducive to your life? Is it
No, it's
beneficial
not.
for you?
No,
The
it's not.
decisions he's making, or is that making us live in danger further? A lot of food for thought. But you know what? Diddy's a part of this elite crowd. Diddy's a part of
Right.
the elite crowd, and I really, really feel like Diddy done.
I think he's done. I think he's done all he can do, and I think he's gonna get a rude awakening in prison. And
Exactly. Because he's not gonna have all that money to throw around in prison. Like, they don't care. In prison, what outranks everything is respect.
right.
And that get that like in them folk up in there, they not gonna have him strong arming them like he do folk out here.
Nope. Are you gonna be on tomorrow, Naughty?
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, I'm gonna be live. I'm this is how much I love my naughty crew. I'm going to the courthouse to get a day of court hearing from you. It's supposed to be raining, so I'm gonna try to get there early so I can get inside. And the assistant, I believe his testimony has wrapped. So tomorrow, Mia, who is also Mia's supposed to be victim number 2. She's supposed to be testifying tomorrow. And they're expecting her to testify for 2 days.
So Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to catch that, the direct, and then we'll catch the cross-examination when I get back home, and I'll go live so you guys to give your thoughts. So the prosecution, I think, is doing an excellent job of building the retrial.
I think it is.
It's okay, Tells. I'm about to get out of here. I'm hungry now because this edible has kicked in. I got the munchies. So I'm about to go get myself together. Dustin, I always appreciate you coming up. I will be live tomorrow. I'll catch you guys walking into the room, and I'll see like who's outside.
I'll see you tomorrow night. I'll be here.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'll be here for when you drop the link. I'll be here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a good
night. Thank you for always being here for the people and bringing the case to our screens every day, because it's really opened up my eyes on the Diddy trial. And thank you for letting me up on the panel, and thank you for letting me be here every day. And I'll be here tomorrow once again to give you my my thoughts for tomorrow's trial.
All right. Thank you so much, Dustin. You have a great night.
You too.
Bye. All right, you guys. Yo, and what's up with Chad Ochocinco and Shannon Sharp? They were gonna do a tour for their podcast. They had to cancel it because word on the curve is all the sponsors pulled out because of Shannon Sharp's lawsuits and allegations. What I heard Tasha say, that it's a morality issue. You know what I mean? And a lot of these contracts have morality clauses or whatever. But what goes up must come down. And I think this is a classic situation of it. Replay game, everybody. Y'all leave it in the comments and y'all let me know what is going on. What are y'all thoughts on Shannon Sharp? And I'm just like, I would have kept this to myself. All right. So I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed evening. But you already know, Naughty Crew, to all my haters.
And I wanna say thank you in case I don't thank you enough.
I think I embrace my haters over here. Because I'm not moved, because I'm sure about who I am, and you can come over here and
congratulations, you played yourself.
You come over here and play yourself all you want, but make sure you
ever in life. I stand on business. You drop me somewhere, I stand on business. You drop me in your hood, I stand on business. I don't feel like you stand on business. Yeah, I've been stood on business.
You don't want no problems, you just talk like you do.
What's up? Ain't nobody scared over here. I stand firm on what I am, who I am, and I know what I bring to the table, okay? So make sure y'all just stand in y'all word. Always. Don't let nobody control your destiny. You have control over everything. Peace and blessings to all of you. Until next time, Naughty Crew, I'm out. Yeah.